for Chris Sanderson, but they really tested Sanderson, USA did, the last matchup. Quint, I don't think he can come out with 30 saves each game. Tough to depend on that kind of performance.
The U.S. put 54 shots on Sanderson, actually on the defense of the U.S. 45 of those were on net. Sanderson had a big day. Canada has got to keep the shots that the U.S. gets, I think, to a number between 40 and 45.
Now, take a look at this matchup. Watch behind. 40. That is Reed Jackson playing defense with a short stick. They have elected to take both poles, one with Pat McCabe, one with Volker, and match them up in Gary and Paul Gate. That's how much they respect them. Normally you play with a 6-foot pole. This is Reed Jackson, short pole, and they get a shot on him. The slide from Morrow comes up, and this is a tactic that may prove to be very valuable.
Yeah, in the round robin play, they did not choose to show this defense. Now they've got the short stick on Grant. John Grant, 22 years old, out of Delaware.
This is Paul Gate, number 19 on Pat McCabe for USA in the white. Trying to push it up top. They can't get possession. This is Grant, number 18. Gate lookalike in size, about 6'2", 220. Canada didn't have very many shots the first matchup against the powerful USA team, but they sure did can a lot of them, Quint.
Well, they had 30 shots. 29 of the 30 were on the goal, which is amazing accuracy. And out of those 29 on goal, they managed 12 goals. They're going to be a little more patient on offense. Right now, you can see them getting the ball around. They tired in that game, and they really lost the game in the fourth quarter because I think their defense got tired.
Paul Gate takes a hard shot high, and Lacrosse congratulates his defense for getting a little bit of a stick on that. That's Paul Gate. Again, the numbers, only about 7 goals, and Quentin, you're right, he's got to come up with a few more. They depend on them so much. Series history, U.S. 10-1. 1978 was the big upset. U.S. won by 1, and that is the only time the U.S. has been beaten in tournament play. Canada has owned the ball since the opening faceoff. That's about 2 minutes long. They're taking a lot of air out of it, pushing it in for a shot, and Lacrosse makes a big save.
We've got a delayed call.
Looks like it's going to be against USA. Push. He came in on a powerful move.
What do we got?
It'll be 6 for Canada against 5. A man-up play. Call a little bit late as he went flying.
What do we got?
Push call.
Dan Stroop, who runs with the Gate brothers.
30 for the push.
Dan Stroop, who runs with the Gate brothers, a right-handed player. Both of the Gates are lefties. He had inside position. Watch Jacobs. You'll see Jacobs push him right there. And he carries into the crease. So Cassio with a super initial save. But now Canada, 6-on-5 for 30 seconds.
And they didn't have very many chances the first time they met the United States. I think it was only 1, Quint. They were 1 for 1. And extra mans, as always, can really prove to be a big, easy way to get goals.
Huge differential in that game. The U.S. was 4 for 7 on extra man. Canada only 1 for 1.
Bowen looks inside. He finds his teammate, and that's Chris Gill all alone in the crease, and he waits very patiently to finish the ball behind Lacrosse. Canada takes a 1-0 lead about 4 minutes into this game.
They are so dangerous from close range. Chris Gill with that goal. He's had a solid tournament. One of the younger players on this Canadian team. The extra man team has been lethal. Jamie Bowen to Gill in front. Sloppy defense by the U.S. You've got to cover those players close. You'll see Gill sneak in from behind the cage right there. He's got to stick up to the left. He sneaks behind Pat McCabe. A lot of confidence to throw that ball to him in traffic, but that's what the Canadians are great at, Leaf. From the indoor game, they can handle the ball when they're covered tightly.
And a little bit of a gimmick defense by U.S. in that first possession. They had the 2 long sticks on the wings to cover the Gates. The last faceoff, Quint, they had Andy Ross. They went back to a traditional set on the faceoff. It was an over-the-line offsides infraction to give USA their first offensive possession. Mark Millen, MVP from '94. Defense drops the stick, and Millen comes in for a shot. Holy smokes. Steve Fennell dropped his stick playing Mark Millen.
Canada penalty on number 5, Steve Fennell. 30 seconds.
Tough matchup as you look at Mark Millen. Nobody faster and quicker. That's
Get the ball, please. Get the ball, otherwise delay a game.
Millen's got incredible explosiveness. Fennell, the fastest of the Canadian defenders, but you can see Millen with that quick burst of energy. Fennell was just faked out, dropped his stick, and then got called for a 30-minute violation. So the U.S. now with an extra man trying to counter the first Canadian goal.
We don't often see that, running right out of the stick. There's a hard shot from the left off the iron for Millen. The natural lefty, back to Casey Powell, into low, and Sanderson picks up the ball. Casey Powell bent over, his hand was hit on that play, and Canada being ragged.
An amazing turn of events. Millen ricocheted his shot off the pipe directly back to himself, and he chose to pass the ball behind to Casey Powell, and Sanderson made a great pickoff play.
How about Toll running right by Casey Powell, playing at about 80%. A little bit of a question mark that he would make the starting lineup tonight, but he comes in 80% while three seemingly healthy players sit on the bench.
Only saw action in one game, the Iroquois game, where he had 2 goals and 1 assist. I am shocked to see him in the lineup. His lateral movement really seems compromised. His stick skills are still there and his vision, but he's 1 hit away, I believe, from being on the bench.
This is John Tavares, number 11. He's marked by Andy Ross with great speed. Tavares for Canada now looking for possession down low. Steve Govett, pretty much a finisher. You won't see any assists from him. He's 10 goals, no assists so far in the tournament. John Grant, almost a bookend to the gates on that left-hand side, also a finisher. Tries to come in left, runs right through the crease. Crease violation, will give it to USA.
Ryan Wade with the defense there, just squeezing Grant behind the cage. Take a look at Casey Powell, 6'1", 190 out of Syracuse. 2 times the NCAA Player of the Year. Tore a ligament in his knee 3.5 weeks ago. Standard recuperating time for that injury, 6 to 8 weeks. So it's really shocking that he is in the lineup for the U.S. after seeing action in the semifinal game against the Iroquois Nationals.
His stick looked very sharp. He had great stick skills against the Iroquois Nationals. Here comes a team from USA. This team is really loaded from top to bottom. Ryan Wade, a return member of the '94 team. Up top to Charlie Lockwood, also a team member from the Manchester games. You've got to love the roster for Team USA. They are just so deep. And I think, Quint, that shows up in the numbers. They have run every team off the field in the 4th quarter.
And it's been a different star each game for the U.S. Millen and Watson have been the most consistent. But that man right there, Ryan Wade and Curry, they've all played so well. It's been different guys every night stepping up, doing the offensive damage.
And one guy who's been consistent is Chris Sanderson for Canada. He has made the defensive end of the field respectable, not only respectable, but world caliber. And he just made a big-time save to get the ball back.
About 64% in the 5 games here at the World Games. That was a really super save against Ryan Wade, the jump shot. That placement to the offside low stick side, offside low, was so effective in game number 1 of this tournament. But Sanderson really read that one efficiently.
Quint, I sense Canada taking a little bit more time on their offenses. They did get a little tired last time. They are taking time on each offensive set. Game 1-0 in favor of Canada as Govett goes behind. Pat McCabe really sensing he can get the ball from him, working him hard. Govett diving in, looks for a shot, and Lacrosse makes another great save. Crease violation, gives it back to USA in the white.
Govett looking for the push call. He had an advantage. McCabe with some aggressive stick checks. But Govett, I'm not sure if he got the shot off, if it hit Lacasio in the foot, or if it just came out of his stick at the last second.
Looked like, to me, that Lacasio got a body part on that. He did a great job.
Watch the replay. You can see Govett tucks his stick. McCabe makes the check at the last second. Patty McCabe kept his stick on Govett's shoulder and delivered that check at the last second.
Still looked like Lacasio got a foot on it, did it to you? Anyway, here comes USA. Down by 1. Patient offense for them as well. Charlie Lockwood, big left-handed shooter, takes one there. Might have hit the face mask of Sanderson, rolling toward the sideline, and out of bounds goes to Canada. They have put a lot of rubber on the goal. Sanderson turning it back. They'll call that a shot closest to the ball, USA, and they will get possession. Blake Miller chasing it down, far side. He's marked by Eric Gervais. Now here goes the matchup. Fennell, number 5. You saw him drop a stick moments ago on Mark Millen. Nobody has been able to stay with Mark Millen in these games. Double team, gets the ball back behind to Lowe. Lowe tries to get it up top, but it was picked off by the defense. And here comes Sanderson. A little bit of trouble, but now to the midfield and Canada on the move. So dangerous in transition.
They've got a trailer in the middle of the field here.
Eric Gervais. Gervais picks it up, looks for the right-handed shot. He is checked beautifully. Di Tommaso and Charlie Lockwood just sandwiched him as he came knifing through the offense.
Gervais, one of the faster players, a young player out of Loyola College. Watch Lockwood's shot here. Sanderson, you won't see him move his stick very much, but it pegs him right in the skull. Sanderson taking the nice angle. And watch the stick check here. You'll see Gervais at the last second lose the ball and fall into the crease, and that's why U.S. was given possession.
Canada looks like they're under a little bit tighter wrap on the offensive end. But, of course, in transition, Quint, they're going to go ahead and force it. If they think they have a seam on a transition play, they'll go right at Sal Lacrosse.
They have the numbers advantage.
DiTomaso comes in, goes to Ryan Wade. Steal try is not good. Reisig missed that one. Defensive play there, puts the ball on the carpet. Great play by Gervais, who single-handedly got the ball back. He initially missed the check on Ryan Wade, but somehow got the ball back. Down low, nobody playing the attackman down low. There he is all by himself. It's Govett, and Govett gets really handcuffed in tight. They are not giving Govett tight man-to-man marking, Quint. They're sliding off him very readily.
The Canadians have been in the crease 4 times so far in this game. You can see how they really take it to the cage. All or nothing type shots.
Mark Millen fakes inside. He'll be wide open, looking for a rope. Millen's got the first goal of the game for USA. A great move, Quint. He was being played way on the perimeter by Fennell. He just gave him an outside fake and then beat him inside.
Fennell has been trying that shut-off tactics against Millen, but you can see the speed and the quickness. There's no way you can shut this guy off because he is so shifty. The American fans here, about 10,000 of them, loving the action. Ryan Wade, watch him pull the string and do what's called a backdoor cut right there. Perfect pass by Wade. No help defensively for the Canadians. And Millen sticks it. Again, another look, a high shot. He gave him a little shake and bake with the head. Right here, he dips his shoulder and beats Sanderson high. Mark Millen ties it up at 1.
And the long stick wing tactic is a gate tactic. So when Gary and Paul are on the wings, they're putting 2 long stick, 2 defensive specialists on them. And they're letting Govett be played by a short stick player. So Reed Jackson, who is a defensive player, number 40, he'll play behind the goal. You're looking at Paul Gate now, and the ball given to his identical twin brother, Gary. Now, Volker's marks are marked up on Gary Gate, number 6 right there. We talked about him in the pregame. Pick right there. Gary getting a little move, tried to pick and roll. Ball wide open, and both teams miss it. Paul Gate picks it up. Reed Jackson on him, bad matchup. Paul Gate can take advantage of this. Coming in, he'll get a shot, takes it right into the midsection. Poor location on the shot, but a great save by Sal Lacrosse. He is looking sharp in the goal for USA. They had a great matchup, and they took advantage of it. Here comes Brian Volker. He can shoot. Looks to the middle. Jacobs, and a check from behind by Stevie Toll takes it wide.
Steve Toll got there at the last second. That ball rolled off the top of Jacobs' stick. U.S. in transition. Nice save by Lacrosse to start that whole flurry.
Millen to Watson, who is as deadly as anybody, cutting through the crease area. He has been sensational in this tournament, cutting in front of the goalies. If Canada has had 6 shots, 5 of them have been 3 feet away from Sal Lacrosse.
They have. They haven't been the strongest angle shots, and Sal takes up so much of the goal. He just positions himself on that pipe. There's not much to shoot at. Paulie Gate had the advantage, but he's got to reach his stick around Sal Lacrosse on that shot.
Canada seems to be working their game plan really perfectly at this point as far as pushing it in when they get the chance. They've had a lot of shots on Sal, but he has just been there to make the big saves. Teams tied at 1. First quarter action. You're looking at John Tavares, number 11, getting wrapped by Pat McCabe. And they're going to give it to Team USA. And McCabe, really a takeaway kind of defenseman with the defensive style of Coach Bill Tierney, a little more conservative in these World Games.
Go ahead, go ahead. Run.
Quint, I think when you see McCabe out in the midfield against the Gates, you'll see a little more of that strut packet.
That's a great area to feel for McCabe to throw some checks. In the corners, if you miss the check, there's not much of a downside potential defensively. So that's his area. When the ball's going towards the corners, look for McCabe to try to take the ball away and get it on the floor.
This is Rob Scheck. He's got a great sweep move and a big hard shot. Here he comes, and he's got rope. USA gets goal number 2. It's a 2-1 game. Great shot by Robbie Scheck. Right or left, he can make that ball move.
And it's all about shooting on the run. When the player's running full speed, so tough to find the ball coming out of his stick. Gervais defensively lost a step, and you can see Sanderson kind of drop his stick there. Watch it, get a great angle here. Watch the ball go over Sanderson's shoulder on the near side, but so tough to pick this up. This will be a great angle right there. So tough to pick that ball up as it's coming out of Rob Scheck's stick. Remember, he's running full speed on that.
Robbie Scheck, one of the best at running at full speed and shooting the howitzer. 2-1, USA, 2 goals in a row. Millen and Scheck, they get the 2-1 lead. after Gill on the extra man goal opened up the scoring for Canada. Back to the face-offs. Rodney Tapp. He gets beaten this time. Ryan Wade comes in, goes to low inside, back to the middle, big shot in tight. Great give and go move, and it was Andy Ross trying to finish it off, couldn't do it. Michael Watson gets the ball on the sideline, and they get some fresh legs to balance out the midfield. Specialty teams on the face-off, and they like to balance up once they get possession or lose it. Mark Millen, played by Fennell. We've seen some dramatic moments with these two already today. Millen coming low, easy save for Sanderson, and they will give it to Darren Lowe, who backed up. Sanderson not really willing to go full to the back line yet, saving his energy. There's a big shot from on the crease, and it's again Watson, but no, they're giving him a crease violation. Watson slashing across the crease.
It's gone, it's gone!
Nobody does it better.
And surprise, no push call. Watson was absolutely dumped from behind.
That will be looked at again.
Watson dumped from behind. They said he was in the crease before the ball trickled in the goal. Sanderson, watch the replay. You'll see Watson right here, right there, pushed from behind. The ball doesn't go in right away. His hand hits the turf, no goal.
I'll tell you, from that angle, it looked like he was hammered.
Hammered from behind.
No call made, 2-1 the score. Canada's still a little bit choppy when their offensive set. They can't pick it up there. Offside, Steve Toll, he's calling for a push. Everybody talking to the refs. USA gets it back. Darren Lowe gets inside. This could be trouble. Watson looking. He can also beat you on a little bit of a dodge move. Watson's got the full package. Quint, I don't think anybody has been slashing across the crease as a target more than Michael Watson in this tournament. Ryan Wade getting hammered by Johnny Tavares.
Watson had 4 goals last time these two teams played. He's so tough inside. He's only about 5'9", 165 pounds. Extremely strong and tenacious inside.
Delayed call against Canada. Here goes the speedster Millen. Double team, doesn't catch him. Looks behind. He's got help there. Miller takes a shot, and he's hammered to the ground. Blake Miller paid for that one. 2-1. U.S. leads. They'll have an extra man play when we get back to action. Stay with us. Championship Lacrosse from Homewood Field in Baltimore.
You know how you hear some words and you think you've seen them before? Investments. Right. They manage money. Serious. And you see them again. Performance. Here. There. Not just any mutual fund. Yeah, that's it. Warburg Pincus Mutual Funds. They manage money. Right.
Warburg Pincus Family of Funds.
My name is Walter Fischer. I design cars for Volkswagen.
I like to drive them. Marketing people ask me to design a special driver's car. I thought, well, I'll design it like my car. With a spoiler, alloy wheels, sunroof. Non-standard. My wife thinks they should call it the Walter Fischer edition.
They said they'd think about it.
The road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Communications wants to save you money with cable value coupons like
save on new overstuffed and low-fat light pitas at Jerry's Subs and Pizza. Save up to $100 from Severn Roofing and Chimney Service. Call TLC for custom sprinklers and landscape lighting. 10% off carpet and upholstery cleaning from Stanley Steamer. Save big on your subscription to Afro-American newspaper.
Jones Communications wants to save you money. This month, when you get your Jones Communications cable bill, you'll get a nice bonus.
Big Baller Records and Films presents the most anticipated and controversial independent street film of the year, Big Ballers, on video and DVD. It's Miami's underworld like you've never seen before, featuring true-to-life ballers. Also, the hottest soundtrack of 1998, Big Ballers, available on CD and cassette, featuring JT Money of the Poison Clan, Trick Daddy Dollars, the South Coast Ballers, Mid Squad, Family Ties, Lady Dice, SA, and Po' Boy. In stores everywhere. This is a Big Baller Records and Films presentation. Get it now.
Back at Homewood Field, 2-1, the United States leading, and take a look at the offense cooking in here. This is Watson getting it in between 3 players and pushed down. The push didn't look that bad from that angle. As a matter of fact, he dove in and it went down. That time, Blake Miller, the last play before the break, he got hammered. between those two plays, penalty was called. It'll be a 6-on-5, an extra man play for USA. And this unit will feature from behind Mark Millen. See penalty minutes in the tournament. Canada really hurting themselves with almost 2-to-1. More penalties than they get the advantage of. So they have to play a lot of short-handed defense. Darren Lowe on the far side. That's Millen starting behind. You'll see him rotate around. I don't think Millen will stay behind for long. He's a big-time shooter. Now he comes up. Here goes Jesse Hubbard. And Gary Gate out there playing on the short unit. I'll tell you, they love to have Gary Gate on the short unit, Quint, because transition, he is a killer.
Team's back to even strength. The Canadians have to check up now defensively. Effective penalty kill. The U.S. had some great ball movement on the perimeter, but they managed one shot. Hubbard deflected by Gate.
20-minute running time here in international play. Millen trying to get a little bit of advantage. Fennell pushed him back for the moment. Fennell being a little bit more conservative as he matches up with Mark Millen. And Darren Lowe checks from behind. Reisick on him as they get it over to the wing, and it's David Curry coming behind with Gary Gate. They're going to try to run Gary Gate a little bit. They can play defense. He's got a sensational check with the one hand, Gary Gate does. But this is what all teams have been trying to do all tournament, Quint. They try to wear him out, just do a couple circle runs, take some mileage off his leg.
This has only been his second defensive possession for Gary Gate so far in this first quarter. He played 15 minutes of defense earlier on in the quarter, and now he's played in the penalty kill situation in about a minute since that penalty. So he hasn't had to play that much defense, and we haven't really seen Paul Gate play any defense yet.
Paul Gate nursing a back injury, nothing big deal, but it's something he deals with every day. Watch Watson! Watson with a great shot. He got the feed, protected it with his body, and when he gets the stick low, he can really find the corner. We've seen that shot so many times. 3-1. USA leads by 2.
Michael Watson, a magician. He had 4 against the Canadians in round-robin play, his first of the evening. Darren Lowe with the assist. Watch it again. Watch him catch this and kind of hesitate for a second. Right here, regains his balance. Tommy Ferris, actually Reisick, is right on his back, but Watson, using his body to protect his stick, catches it and then puts it, lifts it over the shoulder of Sanderson. Again, he takes that check to the back and almost blindly puts that by Sanderson.
Gary Gate looking for help as he goes to the loose ball, flips it back, but picked up by Volker. Volker made it beautifully, and they'll slow things down. Volker saw Gary Gate going for the loose ball, checking for help, and Volker just stayed in the passing lane and picked it up. 3 unanswered goals for USA. Canada started off the scoring with a 1 goal by Gill on an extra man, so Quint even up. Canada's pushed it down Lacasio's throat, but the defense has not allowed Canada an even up goal yet. Tried to get it all the way across, and Stevie Toll picks it up with Paul Gate getting the possession. Batting it around, Paul Gate getting run down by Timmy Sudan.
Not much time, look for a late shot.
Here comes time winding down. Gary Gate looking for help. Volker on him, pick move. Gary Gate coming in, takes the right-handed shot. Lacasio makes another save. Time winds down in the first quarter. We'll come back with quarter number 2. The USA on a 3-goal roll. They lead 3-1.
Try to imagine every major lacrosse association becoming one, bringing you a better game. Lacrosse. There's no I in team, just us. U.S. Lacrosse. Imagine what we can do.